My name is Chase Johnson, and I am against the abolishment of the death penalty. So the reason that I am against the abolishment of the death penalty is because in a recent poll of about 5,000 Americans randomly selected among the U.S. Who were all adults, 60% of them preferred to have the death penalty. Of that population, 27% of them strongly agreed with the death penalty. Of that population, 64% of them believe that those who are convicted of murder should be charged with the death penalty. Of that population, 78% of them believed that you could be wrongly convicted, wrongly charged, with the death penalty after a false conviction of murder or something else. So what that tells me is that despite the risk, these people are still in favor of the death penalty. Now, the 60% of the population wanting the death penalty is enough for me to say that we should have it. In a perfect democracy, if 60% of people want it, 60% of the people who are willing and able to vote want to have the death penalty, I think we should have the death penalty. Another reason why I believe that we should have the death penalty is because of the world today, where mass shootings has been a more common occurrence. In a recent court case of the Parkland shooter, there was someone who did not get the death penalty, who I believe should have. So if you don't know about the Parkland shooter, it was someone who shot the high school, Parkland High School in Florida. It was about 5 years ago, and this trial has been going on for 5 years. It recently ended. In the end, he did not get the death penalty. After interviewing the parents or the families of the victims, who have been very, very patient with this trial, they couldn't say anything that they wanted to during the trial because they didn't want a mistrial. So they had to keep their mouths shut about how they felt, or they had to keep their feelings out of it. And in the end, almost every person agreed who was a family member of the victim or a close friend. They all agreed that he should have had the death penalty. I have never been in that situation. I have never been in their shoes where a loved one has been shot, a loved one has been killed by another person. But I want them to be able to have a say as the victims, what happens to the person who has done the crime. Another reason to keep the death penalty is because of the simple economic fact that if we abolish the death penalty, crime will rise. All things constant, crime will rise if we abolish the death penalty. And that's just simple economics. Now, do I think the death penalty is perfect in how it's implemented today? I do not. I think it's far from perfect, but I don't think abolishing the death penalty is the answer. It is unfair to those who have experienced being a victim of a serious crime and have no other means by which they can get justice for the crime of which somebody else has committed that has gravely affected their life. I believe that we have a lot of work to do with how we go about the death penalty, but abolishment is not the answer. 60% of adults who are willing and able to vote would vote for the death penalty. In addition to all other things said, And that is reason enough, on top of everything else, to keep the death penalty and not have it abolished.